last night and into this morning, we were informed of a pretty horrific tragedy. 14 skaters returning home from the National Development Camp at Wichita, Kansas, put on by U.S. Figure Skating, were lost in the plane crash at Washington, D.C. It's a close, tight bond, and I think for all of us, we have lost family.
Tonight, we're learning more about the people killed in a crash between an American Airlines jet and an Army helicopter on a training mission. Officials say there were no survivors of last night's crash, with 64 people on board American Eagle Flight 5342 and 3 people on the Army Black Hawk helicopter. 14 victims were returning from a figure skating camp, including 2 sisters, ages 11 and 14. CBS's Erica Brown has the latest on the investigation from Reagan National Airport.
Recovery efforts on the Potomac River continued Thursday afternoon in one of the deadliest U.S. aviation accidents in recent history. CCTV captured the moment when an Army Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines regional jet as it prepared to land at Reagan National Airport last night.
At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident.
The National Transportation Safety Board is leading the investigation into how the collision occurred.
We have not recovered the flight data recorders yet. We know they're there. They are underwater.
President Trump appeared in the briefing room requesting a moment of silence for the victims.
We are one family, and today we are all heartbroken. We're all searching for answers.
He then quickly pointed a finger at the previous administration's hiring practices.
The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative.
Democrats pushed back.
For the President of the United States to throw out idle speculation as bodies are still being recovered and families still being notified, it just turns your stomach.
Flights have resumed here at Reagan National Airport after they were paused for nearly 14 hours, though several hundred were canceled and others delayed.
American Eagle Flight 5342 originated in Wichita, Kansas, where a prayer service was held Thursday.
But the only way that we will get through this is together.
Officials say flight conditions were clear Wednesday night. Erica Brown, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
One of the main questions in the aftermath of the crash is, does President Trump's 90-day hiring freeze on federal employees include the FAA and air traffic controllers? An FAA report obtained by the Associated Press shows staffing was, quote, not normal in the air traffic control tower at the time of the mid-air collision. CBS News reports one worker was managing the helicopters and planes. That's a job that's normally done by 2 people. Now, the hiring freeze is part of the effort to downsize government and remove DEI initiatives. The memo from the Trump administration says the freeze does not apply to positions related to public safety, but the White House and the FAA have not responded to questions on whether air traffic controllers are specifically included. Now, just after taking office, President Trump fired the head of the Transportation Security Administration as part of overhauling the Department of Homeland Security. Now, Trump also removed all of the members from the Aviation Security Advisory Committee. The memo said it was part of a commitment to eliminating the misuse of resources and ensuring that DHS activities prioritize our national security. Now, that committee was created after the 1988 Pan Am 103 bombing over Lockerbie, Scotland, to examine safety issues at airlines and airports. Now, prior to inauguration, FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker stepped down, as well as the Deputy Administrator Katie Thompson. Now, the helicopter in the crash belongs to a battalion that often transports senior military personnel around the Washington, D.C. area. It was on a training flight where pilots learned to travel in the busy flight patterns near the airport. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says an investigation was launched immediately.
A young captain, staff sergeant, and CW2, Chief Warrant Officer, on a routine annual retraining of night flights on a standard corridor for a continuity of government mission. The military does dangerous things. It does routine things on the regular basis. Tragically, last night, a mistake was made.
Officials say they will examine pilot experience in the D.C. airspace as part of that investigation. Now, flights in and out of the airport here were affected today by the plane crash in D.C. 8 flights were canceled and others were delayed, causing local travelers to change their plans.
Our flight was supposed to be at 9 something this morning, and we got an update at about, like 3 o'clock, I guess, that our flight was canceled basically, and they rebooked it for about like 1 something, and then it was delayed to like 2 something today. So we'll be getting there 5 to 6 hours later than we're supposed to.
Coming up tonight at 6, McPherris will have more on that part of the story, along with reaction from a local pilot and congressman. We will have continuing coverage of the investigation and the impact on the flights in and out of New Orleans. You can look for the latest updates on our website, our free smartphone app, as well as our social media pages.